Hello. I really don't know how to start videos anymore. Is this interesting? Is this interesting to you? Are you intrigued? Stick around and I'll show you how I made this subpar romper. Just like with the dress that I had made, I'm going to be going off of a pattern, and I've learned a lot from the last one, so I think that I should be able to do this now without issues, or at least not the old issues. There's probably going to be new issues. The big thing I learned from the last pattern is to just take the time to measure. Don't assume your size based on your wardrobe, because patterns lie. Or tell the truth, I'd rather not think about that too much. I like to save my patterns. I'm not a monster, I don't cut into them. You know, just in case one day I miraculously lose weight, or I just want to make clothes for other people. So I trace them on a tracing paper and then just cut those out. So now that all my pieces are cut, I have a pattern here for the bustier that I'm going to be putting underneath. And I did just take this from the same pattern. This was one of the included pieces, so I figured it'd just be easier because I've never made like a bra or a bustier or anything before, so this is gonna help. But I was noticing that the fabric that I was gonna use is surprisingly thin. My solution to this problem was to steal the pads from an old sports bra, and let's be honest, it really isn't getting used. With a very loose plan in place, I cut out my bralette pieces, and I first gathered a small line on the front panel, so that front section, and assembly was easy enough. I sewed the matching ends together and used bias tape and elastic to finish the edges. I did a quick fit to make sure the bralette felt right, and then moved on to cutting the main fabric. I've started recently using a rotary cutter, which has made my life a lot easier, but cutting out pieces still takes so long, and it will forever be my least favorite part of this process. I'm too impatient for this. So I started cutting what I realize now is supposed to be interfacing pieces, but given the type of fabric that I'm using, I don't think that's gonna work. I don't think interfacing is gonna do what I want it to do. So we're gonna skip that step. And do I know how that's gonna turn out? Nope, but we're gonna find out together. And thus began my downward spiral into experimentation and half-assery, which is basically the story of my life. I should write a book about it. I've already lost interest. At this point, I stopped reading the pattern directions and just went balls to the wall sewing the bodice together, which worked out for the most part, up until I got to the part where I had to finish the edges. I've only hemmed the armholes so far, and I gotta tell you, these hems are not cute. This fabric is so hard to work with. So I think I'm gonna have to do what I did with the bralette and do bias tape to kind of complete these edges. And so I pulled out my thread ripper for the first and definitely not the last time. It's the next day because I really needed a break from this top. It was driving me nuts. And I had an epiphany, or at least I'm hoping that's what it was. We'll see if it actually works, because I really don't want to have to go out and buy more bias tape, because then I'll have to try and match the color, and it's always older ladies working at the fabric store that I prefer. And like sometimes you'll get really nice ones, but the other ones are kind of grouchy, so like I try not to go in there unless I have a list of everything that I need. So what I'm going to try and do is use some elastic to add substance to this material because it is very thin, and I'm hoping that this should give me some good hems. So I'm gonna try it. Wish me luck. I'll let you know how it goes. Poorly, okay, poorly. It went poorly. So I think it was a nice thought. It's not good. I was gonna say it's not awful, but that's really not that great. And like it just hangs weird, and like, I mean it works, but it doesn't. And I think maybe if it was black or maroon would probably be better. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna have to buy the bias tape. Darn it. However, before subjecting myself to the wrath of cranky old ladies, I decided to use the same fabric that I cut my short pieces from, and decided to make my own bias tape since it had a similar stretch. And this was totally worth the hassle. Like, oh my god. All around, I think that this is turning out really well. So in my original design, I was gonna do ruffles on the sleeves, but because of how this looks and how long it took me to do the binding, I don't want to cover it up. And I also don't want to do the work to put them on.
The bodice was finally complete, and after checking the fit, I moved on to the shorts. And the first order of business was to add the pockets, and I actually referred to the pattern for this one, which was a bit out of character, but I'm glad I did because I was starting to wear my thread ripper to a nub. I mean, not actually, I'm grossly exaggerating, but I was tired of ripping seams. I've also been learning the absolute visual necessity of understitching. Look it up, it will change your sewing from garbage to Gucci. After the pockets, I just had to sew together the matching edges, and I can already tell this is gonna hang so weird. And also, I'm a little worried I made them too big because looking at it right now, this does not look like it's gonna fit a human woman. And I'm gonna be so embarrassed if it actually does. Yeah, it's a little big, but I think it'll be okay since it's a romper. But I'm gonna wanna put some elastic in the waistband, I think. But before that, I needed to hem the leg holes and sew the bodice to the shorts, and decided to try the romper on as is. And honestly, I don't hate this. You can kind of tell in the back a little bit, I had to scrunch it up because I actually did like 4 sizes smaller for the top because I got a big butt. And I thought I had measured it out so they'd meet up, but they didn't quite meet up well enough. So it's a little bunchy in the back, which probably would work if I took the time and effort to actually put the waistband in, but I don't think I'm gonna because I don't hate this. And just like that, my lazy butt decided that this outfit was as complete as I was about to make it.
Hello? I was editing and I realized I forgot to do an outro. Really hope you enjoyed the video. I feel like it was kind of a mess. I really don't know how to tell you guys how I make these things. I just want to show you that I've made them. And clearly I'm not an expert. I never follow directions. I just fly by the seat of my pants, and the thread ripper is my best friend. And it's all a bunch of trial and error, so really hope you enjoyed. If you did, of course, you know the deal. Give me a thumbs up, I love seeing those. Subscribe to my channel if you've not already, because it'd be really great one day if I could just focus on doing stupid shit, not have to clock in somewhere, and waste my time wishing I was home making ugly rompers. Alright guys, with that being said, I'm gonna leave now. Bye! Thank you.